Elisa, the Scrappy Wife behind ScrappyWife.com, and today I have a different kind of project for you. One of my awesome subscribers, I introduced them to this project a few weeks ago, and they told me that this is what is called a glue book when it comes to junk journaling. And what I am working on and what I started a few weeks ago, and I shared, like I said, in a video with my subscribers or my members, is that I want a place where I can just put the extra printables that I love, but I didn't find a place for in my regular crafting. So not in my planners or in my Bible journaling, just a book where I can just play with pretty paper pieces. And so I created this particular book. This is a vintage book that I picked up, Grimm's Fairy Tales, picked it up forever ago at like a thrift store. And I am using it to kind of create little scenes, just have fun with printables. It is a super easy project. It's not meant to be difficult in any way, shape, or form. But I kind of wanted to continue that. I figured I'm going to go through and make this a book that'll work a little bit better as far as adding bulk into. So I'm going to remove every fourth page, I think, is what I ended up deciding would probably work out well. So there will be a lot less pages in the book. I'll be able to use those for different things, but then there will be plenty of room to still add maybe fourth or fifth page. We'll see how that goes. Plenty of room to still add printables. I have a ton of leftover printables that I've printed out full sets and have them just left over from different projects. I have some right here that are pulled out. These are all the fall ones that I had ready to go. And I just want to play with pretty paper. So that's what we're going to do. I'm going to set up the rest of this glue book and maybe do a couple of pages with you guys. It should be pretty quick. I'll put you guys on fast forward. I will link everything that I end up using down below. Otherwise, let's go. Okay, so I ended up deciding to rip out every fifth page. I'm not sure if that will end up being enough, but it was a pretty good amount of pages, and these are actually really pretty weathered pages, just aged really nicely, so I can't wait to use them in other projects. For this particular paper, I started with the ruler, but it actually ended up being easier to just use my hands and very carefully rip off. I sped this up 8 times as fast as I actually went, so you wouldn't have to watch me rip out all of these pages. If you're doing this, just be really careful. Make sure you're not ripping the actual binding, or else all the pages will start to fall out. But I think this is going to work pretty well. You can see some of them tore, no big deal. Most of them came out pretty easily, so I'm excited to see how this book kind of grows. I got this idea from the art journaling world because most people that art journal that I know have a use it up journal, which is basically just an extra art journal that they have on the side when they are journaling that they use for extra supplies. If paint is left over on their paintbrush, or they have a stamp that's really inked up and they can stamp it off multiple times. And they use those journals as inspiration for later on. For this particular one, I thought it would just be fun to use some of the pieces and just see what I could create, use up some of the collections, because I do a lot of printing. I'm on the Kelly Bangs creative team for Illustrated Faith, and also Shauna Klingerman's creative team for Illustrated Faith. So I get all of those printables each month, and I love them, and I use them up a ton. I use them in my Bible, I use them in journaling, I use them in my planners, but I still, you guys, you get so much with those. So I still ended up with so much, and I would keep them all just because there's no reason to throw them out if they're perfectly good printables, but I wasn't finding myself using them in other ways. And then with new ones coming in each month, it just ended up being a lot. So I thought this would be a fun kind of activity, maybe to almost do weekly or every other week, just as a way to kind of play with pretty supplies. It's not this in-depth thing. I'm not planning on using paint or mixed media or just making it harder than it is. It's just going to be scissors and printables and adhesive. I actually run out of adhesive, and I broke the cardinal rule of any crafter, and I completely ran out of adhesive tape. And as soon as I finish editing this video, I'm gonna have to run out to Michael's and grab some, because I start off using adhesive tape and then I end up using just a clear glue, which works just fine. I just would rather use tape just because I don't want to warp any of the pages. Now, what am I going to do with this notebook? I'm not sure. I think it would be a fun place to hand letter some quotes or some words in some of the blank spaces, so that would be a possibility. But I also just might have it be fun illustrations. I also was thinking, I know several of you watching are a member of the Fussy Cuttin' Cuties. That is a group started by Kelly Bangs and Paula G. And it's a fun group, and I've been a part of it since the summer, beginning of the summer, but I've been off the past 2 months. Basically in the group, they give you printables each month, and then for the printables, you have all these activities. It's just a fun way to play with paper. I got off of it. I was thinking of maybe creating a glue book for my Fussy Cuttin' Cutie printables for 2022. I thought that would be fun to do some of the activities, kind of picking and choosing which ones I wanted to do instead of putting together a whole book, but just putting them into a vintage book like this, I thought might be a good idea. Let me know if you've done something like that, how it worked for you, either for Fussy Cuttin' Cuties or another project. I love the idea of using these older books and being able to kind of piece together just a new interesting way of binding paper. Like it's a different, I just love paper, you guys. I love scrapbooking. I love playing with stationery and playing with these beautiful paper pieces. So if I can come up with a fun new way to work with them, then that just excites me all the more. And one of my goals for 2022 is to get back into my Fussy Cuttin' Cutie printables and kind of start again, start fresh for the new year. So let me know what you think, and if you think it might be a good idea to try using a book like this, or maybe a little bit larger, to do my Fussy Cuttin' Cutie fun activities in. You can see there's not really a rhyme or reason. This is also just a great way to practice clustering. So it's a no pressure situation. This book is just for me. I know I'm putting it on YouTube, but it's not for a specific project. So I can practice some clustering. I can practice combining some different elements just to see how it works. I've had a lot of people tell me that they struggle with putting things together as far as clusters, and this could be a really fun way to do that. I know a lot of you have collected a lot of beautiful paper pieces, and you might be overwhelmed with the amount you have. So why don't you pull out some and just start gluing. Just start putting them down and see what comes up from it. I think this was a really fun project. I can't wait to kind of continue it and just see how it evolves. Plus, I think it will be a super cool finished product. Like, I think it would actually make a really great gift to give someone, to kind of fill up a whole book and maybe just leave some spaces for journaling for them. And it can be these random pictures. That's okay. And just leave some little spots for journaling. How fun would that be? I think that would be a super cute way to give a customized gift as well. And like I've said before, I'm really inspired by words, so I think it would be a great place to kind of collect inspiring words, inspiring quotes, things like that. You could kind of fit them in with some of the themes of the printables, or you could just have them in here randomly. You could practice making pockets. There's all kinds of ways of using this almost as a practice book for yourself, just as something lighthearted and fun that doesn't feel like a big project, but just feels like something that you can do easily in your downtime when you're feeling tired, something like that. So I'll do one more page in here. I have a ton of these particular printables. These are from, I think it was called Travel Time. I'll have to look it up. I'll link it if I can find it at the Illustrated Faith Print and Pray shop. It was a whole series of devotionals from Kelly Bangs and Paula that they worked on together. That was just lovely. And I did use them for a lot of things. And then I just have so many printables. And sometimes I print out the same page multiple times because I need multiples of one particular photo on that page. And I don't want to mess with like isolating it and doing all that. So I just print it out, just hit print a couple times. And so I end up with lots and lots of printable pieces, and I want to make sure to put them to good use. Also, feel free to put in the comments below what you like to do to use up your printables. How do you use up all of those extra printables that you have on hand? Do you make cards? Do you save them for journaling? Let me know in the comments below. All right, this page is just about wrapped up. If you liked this video, please give it a thumbs up and consider hitting that subscribe button as well as the bell notification button. I will link this printable set down below as well as the adhesive that I use. Not a lot needs to go into these glue books. I think that is the beauty of the concept. I want to give a huge shout out to my Scrappy YouTube members, and especially to Shannon for letting me know that this was called a glue book. I'm excited to kind of jump into this new genre of crafting for me, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about it. All right, I hope that all of you have a fabulous day, and as always, keep it creative.